Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Let's Talk About Sleep. I was gone for a long time for a few different reasons, work related stuff. I was working on promotion, and then coronavirus happened. But anyway, I am back now, so thank you for your patience. Thank you for not abandoning me. Um, and just to reiterate, this channel is for you guys to talk about sleep, okay? I will answer questions if you put them in the comment section, and we can talk about anything sleep related, okay? What I wanted to restart this channel with was talking about Coronasomnia. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's basically exactly what it sounds like, which is this whole notion of people during this pandemic sleeping worse, right? Now, there are a percentage of people, my patients I can speak about, who actually are sleeping better now because they don't have to commute, right? If they're working from home, they don't have to be in a necessarily work type of environment. So, that actually has reduced some of the stress, and they're sleeping as a result somewhat better. But many people are not, okay? And part of that is because there's less activity, there's less structure. Probably doing Zoom calls all throughout the day and into the night, and that can affect sleep. So what I thought I'd go over with you guys first is to talk about Coronasomnia and maybe what we can do to improve upon that. I was interviewed by Health Matters, which is through my hospital, which I'll put a link in this description box below. You can see that if you have more curiosity on it. But basically, not sleeping well during a pandemic or during any kind of exposure to a viral illness is not a good thing. Okay, there are several studies showing this. The most cited one, the one that comes to mind, is a study done out of Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh, 2009, where they took 150 healthy people, and what they did was they had them for the 2 weeks leading up to the study, they had them keep a log. So those who slept less than 7 hours were in one group, and those who slept more than 8 hours were in another group. Okay, this is self-report. And what they did was, at the end of those 2 weeks, they inoculated them with the rhinovirus. So they took like a little speculum, put it up their nose, essentially, and with the rhinovirus, which is basically the common cold. Okay, so they exposed these people to the common cold, and they saw what happened. Those who got less than 7 hours, that group, was like 3 or 4 times more likely to develop the cold compared to those who slept more than 8 hours. Okay, that was a small study, but very, very powerful and very apropos for what's going on right now, right? Because the coronavirus is a virus. All right, so I thought it would be a good way to maybe go over some of the things that we can do, even though we may be, stuck at home or still working remotely or whatever it is. And this is something I talk about a lot when I give a talk to the community, various community groups, about 12 steps to improve your sleep. Okay, so let's get into them. I'm going to be kind of reading off my slide here, so that's where my eyes are diverting. So step 1, caffeine, alcohol, and nicotine. The big 3, as I call them. These things, sometimes we think they're innocuous and they're not a big deal. They can really, really screw up your sleep. Okay, so caffeine, for example, it can have a half-life up to 5 hours in some people. Okay, so half-life, what that is saying is after X number of hours has gone by, or X number of minutes, half of the substance is still around in your system. Okay, so caffeine can have a half-life up to 5 hours. So what that means is that if you have a cup of coffee, let's say at 5 p.m., right, you're going to get that energy boost that's gone in 20 minutes. And you may think, okay, well, if I go to bed at nighttime at 11 o'clock, it should be gone. It may not always be the case. That caffeine still may be there. And if you're somebody who has any trouble sleeping, that little balance, flipping the switch or stacking the balance, I should say, towards not being able to sleep may be all that it takes to get you from going from being able to sleep at night to not. Okay, and I've seen many patients have this issue with caffeine, and simply just reducing or eliminating the caffeine plays a huge role. Okay, so what I usually tell my patients, by 1 to 2 p.m., try to stop the caffeine. Okay, even decaf. Decaf has some caffeine. Alcohol can disrupt your sleep. It can actually make us get to sleep a little bit easier, but it disrupts our sleep going forward. And then smoking, nicotine is a stimulant. We shouldn't be smoking anyway, but that can screw up your sleep. Okay? Number 2, that is turn your bedroom into a sleep-inducing environment. Okay? So, especially now, right, we're working from home, being in Manhattan, people are in a smaller apartments. A lot of times what happens is the bed becomes this place of where I do my work, where I watch TV, where I eat in some cases, okay? We don't want that. What I tell people is this: you want to look at your bed environment, and that includes the bedroom, almost as like a sacred space, okay, where you do your sacred act of sleeping. So you don't want to desecrate that sacred space with anything that's going to be other than sleeping and intimacy, okay? So that means really you're not going to even go into the bedroom or the bed area until it's time for bed, okay? And that includes not doing things in bed that can, interrupt your sleep, such as being on the computer, watching TV, checking emails, that sort of thing, okay? So we really want to avoid that, and that actually brings me to number 3, which is use light to your advantage, okay? So what happens is when we, in a normal circumstance, sun goes down, our brain starts to produce melatonin, right, which is a natural hormone the brain makes, lets us know it's time to go to sleep, okay? Unfortunately, many of the devices we use, computers, TVs, iPads, iPhones, that sort of thing, those devices, I guess a good rule of thumb is to say if you can see the screen without the light on, without the external light on, it's probably producing or emitting blue light, okay? So any kind of blue light device, what that does, it kind of tricks the eyes to trick the brain that the sun is out, okay? And that shuts off your melatonin. So what I say is 30 to 60 minutes before bed, really should be no electronic devices. If you want to listen, that's fine, okay? Some people ask me about these blue blocker glasses, which are okay. I mean, I did a video on that. They're better than nothing, but the best thing really is just nothing at all, okay? If you want to listen, my favorite thing is to do meditation. These are kind of things that can relax your brain enough, get yourself ready for sleep without being exposed to this possibly detrimental situation, okay? Number 4, okay, so along with this whole notion of using light to your advantage, sunlight, okay? So you want to make things dark at night, okay? And then in the morning time, when you wake up, right, get some sunlight. Open up the shades at minimum. If you can go outside, that's even better. You don't want to stare at the sun, obviously, but having sunlight enter your visual field, without staring at it, that will tell your brain, okay, it's time to be awake. Okay, so that'll shut off melatonin, let you know it's time to be awake and get ready for the day. Okay, so these are the ways we want to kind of entrain ourselves, if you will. Okay, what I usually tell people is, in the morning time would be great. We'd get some exercise. Okay, so morning exercise is great to help you kind of burn off any extra tension or energy or stress. And then at nighttime, instead of watching TV and computer right up before bed, maybe do some meditation. Okay, so that's a good kind of consistent habit if you can get into. That would be really helpful. Okay, number 6, or number 5 rather, I should say. Don't be a clock watcher. Okay, so what that means is when you get into bed, right, and if you have any trouble sleeping, the inclination is to kind of see what time it is, right? So the alarm clock's there. I keep checking it, keep what time it is, and then what happens is you get frustrated, right? So an hour has gone by, half an hour has gone by, right, and that kind of perpetuates the problem, and it makes it much, much harder to kind of get yourself into a relaxed state, and that's a key thing. So what I tell patients is, look, set your alarm. That's good. We want to be consistent, as I just said. But don't watch the clock in the night. Turn it around. Cover the clock. You don't want to see what time it is. Okay? Let your body do its thing. All right? Now, number 6. Go to bed when you're tired. Okay? So some people, what they'll do is they will try to get extra sleep, right? Especially if they have poor ability to sleep. They'll try to get into bed earlier to try to get extra sleep, on the front end, which never works. Okay, so some people I know get into bed at 8 p.m., right, and they'll just lie there and they'll maybe talk on the phone or check the computer or whatever. Hours and hours and hours are going by. What happens is, in those kind of situations, when you spend that much time in bed and don't sleep, you're telling your brain, okay, like I said before, this whole sacred space thing, you're telling your brain that this bed area is not my place of sleep. This is where I get frustrated. This is where I stress out. This is where I get ruminate. This is where I get upset, okay? And what you want to do is you want to reverse that. So what would be better is to wait until you really are tired, okay, to get into bed. And then ideally you fall asleep quicker in that situation. And not only that, you're letting your brain know, okay, this is the time for me to sleep. Okay, this is the place for me to sleep. Not this is the place of my whatever, my stress, okay? Number 7, naps. So naps can be very, very helpful. Okay, there's a lot of literature showing that especially if you don't get great sleep the night before, having a short nap in the daytime can really offset everything from your attention and focus, excuse me, to your inflammation, your body's inflammation. Okay, the problem though with naps is it gets to be kind of a slippery slope. So what can occur is people will, I would say the biggest sin, if you will, is you get home from work. You're watching TV, you have your dinner, and then you're on the couch, you're chilling out, and you fall asleep for 15 minutes, right? 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. Doesn't seem like a big thing. The problem, though, is that the brain has what's called sleep pressure, and that gets built up over the course of a day. If we chop out that sleep pressure by taking a short nap, at nighttime, when the pressure should be released, is not there, okay? It's kind of the pressure's been dissipated. Plus, your brain says, look, I just woke up, so why do I need to go back to sleep for? It just makes the process much more difficult. If you have to nap, this is not COVID, by the way. I actually had COVID. If you have to nap, the best thing to do is to do it earlier in the day as possible, okay, like 1, 2, or maybe even earlier, and as short as possible. What I usually recommend to patients, 20 or 30 minutes, okay? What number are we up to here? 7 or 8. Next is exercise, right? You want to get, like I said before, you want to exercise. That can be very, very helpful. That's been shown across the board, okay, in all forms of literature, that regular exercise can help people sleep at night. What I recommend is exercising in the morning, okay? So you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You get out, get some sunlight, do some exercise. That'll raise your mood, that'll raise your energy level. It'll let your brain know it's time to be awake, shut off melatonin, and it may help you to feel better, right? But not only that, the exercise in the morning, what it's doing, it's kind of burning off some of that extra energy that you may have, and that will make it a little bit easier to sleep at nighttime, okay? As opposed to exercising at night, okay? And when I say exercise, I'm really focused in this case on cardio, okay? Lifting weights, it's fine, but if we look at what's good for sleep, cardio is usually the main thing. So you exercise in the morning, and then at nighttime you're just more, in a more peaceful, relaxed state. Next, what are we up to? 9, meditation at nighttime, relaxation techniques. Okay, I am a big believer in mindfulness or guided meditation. There's a million videos and apps out there. Maybe I'll do one actually. Maybe I'll make a meditation video. Very easy to do. It's hard to kind of master, if you will, but I read somewhere once where there's no such thing as a bad session of meditation. You have to practice it before your brain really gets used to doing it. But honestly, even 5 or 10 minutes before bed, instead of checking your email, instead of watching a stimulating movie or so, that can be really helpful. Okay. Number whatever we're up to now. What I always tell people is this: look, if there's any possibility of something going on in your sleep, like a sleep apnea, like a leg kicking disorder or a sleepwalking disorder, get it tested, right? Get it tested. We can do home tests now, which, while they're not going to give us a ton of information, they really do let us know if there's something untoward happening. Okay, so if there is any possibility of a sleep disorder, just get it tested. Okay. Meals and water, liquid. Okay, you want to lighten up on evening meals. You don't want to go to bed starving. Okay, so You can maybe have a couple crackers, peanut butter, that sort of thing. You also don't want to go to bed with a huge meal in your stomach, okay? Both of those will disrupt your sleep. Water, you want to drink your 8 glasses of water a day, okay? But a couple hours before bedtime, try to stop that, okay? I know that if I drink water an hour before bedtime, I guarantee you I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night and have to go to the bathroom, okay? So just don't do that. But definitely drink your water throughout the day, okay? And then last is follow through, okay? So all these things I just went over with you, they're not going to work overnight. And that pun was intended, okay? It takes a long time. But if you set these habits, right, especially the exercise and reducing stress and meditating at night and being consistent, you don't want to necessarily, be sleep deprived during the week, and then in the weekends you just sleep in for 12 hours. That's going to screw you up too. All right, but being consistent with this guideline, they will help you, especially now where being at home all the time and spending all this time at home really kind of makes things more difficult. But if you really can kind of stick to this, things will get better. So that's the video for today. Thank you for watching, and thank you for those who have subscribed. And if you got some value out of this, please share it with your friends, share it with your family. Ask questions, in the comment section. I will answer them. I'll make a video about them if it's appropriate. And please subscribe and like this video. And I will talk to you guys soon. Until then, sleep well.